Hi everybody, it's Sony and welcome to the movie To What If Mina Ashido Was Borderline Obsessed with Izuku. If you guys would like to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit like button, subscribe and comment down below because it helps out the channel quite a lot to show that you're interested. And also I'll be trying to upload, as I've said before, 3 to 2 videos every week or around daily if I can, which I've been doing for the past 4 days. And also, if you guys would like to see anything else, please leave the comment in the comment section down below to show your what if ideas. Or we have a Discord server which is linked down below as well. I do hope you all enjoy this video.
I've just spent a good 10 minutes trying to figure out how to fix my microphone. Well, I just waited a bit of time thinking that it was something hard to fix, when in turn it was something very easy. I'm a complete fucking dumbass. Welcome to part 1 of What If Mina Ashido Was Borderline Obsessed with Izuku. This is a video that was recommended me by Blaze Hollow. Please check him out, the link on top of the right guys' screen, or the first link in the description, and please show them love, because it does help out the channel a lot when you guys show love to other people. And then it sends love to me and back forth and so on and so forth, because that will help out the channel of theirs a lot. And I'm probably going to get demonetized for this video, so that's going to prove interesting. So please share this video with friends and try and help me reach 5,000 subscribers for the end of the year. I'm not going to get to 8k, I've already accepted that. If you guys want another part of this, let's just ball it out, let's just get this video to 100 likes. Part 2 will be out as soon as I can because I can't be asked to record some days with my normal voice. I am very fucking busy. And also I very much hate using text-to-speech, just to let you guys know. I despise it, but it's the only thing I can do to upload. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to start this with the second year of Izuku's journey to become the #1 hero. Izuku in his second year has always been kinda shy and kind of ecstatic. He was always happy with his 2 friends that he was always with, and sort of chats with his other classmates when he had to. He never really chatted with them, he sort of tried to avoid it as best he could because he was happy with his 2 friends in his friend group as it was. But when people talked to him, he tried to actually show a little bit more confidence. But this is what one pink-skinned girl or woman liked in the boy. She always followed him around every single chance she got, every single free period, or every single time they were in the same class. She always followed him around like a crazy stalker and tried her best to get little strands of his hair or try to steal something from his bag that left his scent on. As this person always followed Izuku around, not showing herself, but always Izuku felt like he was being followed. But one day, she would mess up and Izuku would finally see her, as our protagonist would be kind of frightened that now he knows the stalker was in his class. This frightened our main protagonist to his core, knowing that the stalker, he knew her too well. One night, Izuku was asleep, but when he was asleep, the only thing he was dreaming about was in the vestige world, seeing every little detail of their memories coming to the surface, every single little bit of fighting skill, every little bit of training memory, everything. Izuku trained his mental in there for the next 2 days while he was asleep, and he improved outside of the world as well, including inside of the vestige world where he could get more mental training in than more physical, because he needed to keep hold of One for All just in case someone like One for One or Shigaraki came back again to fight. Just remember, in this timeline, Izuku defeated Shigaraki, so there's no All for One anymore. As Izuku dodged, dipped, and even threw his own punches back at Nana. "Come on, kid, you're gonna have to move faster than that," she said, as she pulled an ollie as she started pulling her legs back and forth as she kicked Izuku with the side of his ribs, making him lose air as he went off balance for just a second, as she used that second to punch Izuku square in the jaw and knocked him over. "Come on, Izuku, you're holding yourself back here. We know you're aware of it." So stop holding back. If you start holding back on villains that you're aware are strong, then you're just gonna weigh yourself down again like you did with Shigaraki. The only reason why you won there is because you easily got a kill shot on him. If you went full on out and erased his quirk that wasn't activated, you would have lost, Nana said, making and belittling Izuku, trying to make him rage and push his upper limits out. As the moment he did, Nana evaporated, as Izuku woke up to a shock of electricity going through his body as he realized he couldn't move. He felt like he was stuck in a chair of some sort. He felt like... No, Izuku said, as he shot his arms up, finally able to move, as he felt relieved that he wasn't dead or on something salt like that. Because every single time Izuku's been in the vestige world, he feel like his body couldn't move, like he's just been dropped down from heaven and repossessed his body. Something similar to that, of course. But as we quit to our little point of view with Mina Ashido. Oh, Izuku, why do you have to play hard to get? She said. Every single time I follow you, it's only so I can make sure you're not cheating on me, she said, rubbing the back of her head like a psychopath. Oh, Izuku, when you're gonna learn that I love you? I know I'm following you, so why can't you just accept and embrace me? She said, with the same vocal tones as what Toga would have had, as she kept on staring through Izuku's window until she realized as it was almost 8 p.m. She had another hour to get ready, but she chose to leave, so she could get ready and not rouse suspicion of where her location currently was. As she arrived back at her dorm and opened her drawer to see all of her Izuku's belongings that she took over the span of at least a year. Izuku's toothbrush, Izuku's shirt, Izuku's trousers, Izuku's shoes, favorite shoes he's worn, he always wondered where those went, and a bunch of notes he wrote in class and pretended that they were all written for her. She always kept them all to herself and never let anything out of her sight, and this is why no one was let in her room. Ochako and Momo always wanted to see what Mina's room looked like, but Mina always denied him, telling that she was busy in there and they didn't want him going through her private stuff, which she knew that would happen, and that's why she never allowed anyone, even Izuku, well, even any of her friends, in her room at any cost, because if her secret was found out that she was being obsessed with one person in their class, her entire hero career, not even just that, her lover, well, soon to be, would be grossed out, and she would get expelled. As class would start normally as the day goes on, as everyone will arrive in class, as everyone sat in their normal seating plan as what they had done in canon. But a couple of people here and there would be changed around. I think you know who would be kicked out here because we've read the manga recently. I think you know why. We've been talking about this on this channel for quite a while, and I think you know who's disappearing out of this video. As Izuku sat down in his seat, as Mina sat behind him. The only thing she did all lesson was stare at him. As the next class had to be battle training, as this was Mina's chance to finally get what she wanted, as they finally get to pick teams for the first time in a year, since, well, their first year ones would have to be picked by teachers just to try and get them sorted and ready to see who can be paired with who and see how they do. As Mina raised her hand and instantly went to Izuku to be his partner, as Mina instantly clapped onto his arm and went cheerfully as she jumped down in a happy motion. Everyone knew that she was happy, but she didn't realize she would be this happy. So they got suspicious, but they still ignored it, thinking it was just her being cheerful as Yomali. But in Mina's head, she was screaming out loud. screaming, loud and louder. Yes, finally I get some alone time with Izu. This battle training would be brilliant until we have to start fighting. That means I get to stay close to him and smell his scent, she said, as she started to get red in the cheeks. As Izuku stared at Mina, thinking that she was gonna do something. But Izuku calmed down as the moment Mina started talking, as her bubbly attitude took over her yandere persona. So Izuku, have you got a plan, or are we gonna have to make one up on the fly? She said. Well, our opponents are Ida and Ochako, so we should be able to deal with them easily. I should be able to use binding to be able to actually confine them a little bit better, Izuku said. Binding? You mean that black tendril thing you call Black Whip? Yep. I should be able to confine Ochako to that without her touching much, and then for Ida, I would probably say you have to melt his reciprocal little engines at the back of his legs. Slightly melted, don't burn his entire leg off, Izuku said. I know that, she said as she pouted, as All Might said in his skinny form. 3, 2, 1. Heroes, enter the building, All Might said, as they all entered into the building. As the moment they entered through the door, Ochako and, Ida were both strategizing still, trying to figure out a way past Izuku's immense brutal power. Since Izuku took down All for One and Shigaraki, they didn't know how to actually defeat him, since his brutal power could easily kick away and fly away the moment Ochako actually tried to float him, so the best way is to restrain instantly or try and sneak upon him. As they both went with that plan and scattered to try and find a way to sneak up on him. As Izuku and Mina were both walking down the corridor, Izuku's danger sense went off. Go that way, Mina, Izuku said, pointing to the direction inside of a little gap in the wall. As Izuku pointed there, Mina obliged. As the moment Mina entered into there, Ida kicked Izuku into the stomach, sending him 2 feet back before Izuku recovered, and Detroit smashed with 5% of course into Ida's stomach, knocking him completely unconscious. As Ochako finally had the time and, reaction of course, as she snuck behind Izuku and put capture gear around him, signaling that he was out of the match, as Izuku just sat down on the sidelines and took a breath of air. Oh damn it, I forgot my danger sense doesn't go off with you, Izuku said internally, as Mina finally came out of the corner and smashed Ochako's head against the wall, as the only thing Mina saw then was red, as we cut back to when Izuku was captured. You bitch, don't you dare touch my man, she thought internally, as, that's what happened after that. As Ochako was brutally beaten, as Izuku told Mina to go get the bomb or restrain Ochako without killing her, Izuku said, as Mina finally came back to her senses and restrained Ochako, letting the hero team win. As everyone came out of the building, as they were carrying an unconscious Ochako to Recovery Girl's office, as inside of, the observation room, Izuku was standing there wondering why Mina went so hard on Ochako and not taking it easy. She brutally beat her, bloody typed, like what Toga did back in the war, Izuku thought internally. But before he could continue, All Might, in a skinny form of course, spoke up. Some people thought it was Ida acting like the villain again to try and get MVP. This time it was Izuku being MVP, but as for Mina, she would have to have a talk with Aizawa after the class. But after that chat, let's just say everything went back to normal, as every single person was getting changed. Momo had a bright idea to chat with Mina about what happened in the training today. Hey Mina, Are you okay? Because you seem a little bit frustrated. Wait, what do you mean by that? Mina said. As, well, you beat the shit out of a Chaco. I thought there was something wrong. Oh, yeah, about that. I just had a little bit of frustration, that's all. And I sort of may have lost it, Mina said, chuckling out loud. As some people thought it was creepy, some people didn't, but Toru thought it was suspicious. So she would investigate into her best friend's behavior as the time went on. As everyone finally exited out of the room, this is where Mina's point of view would take place. As Mina went into the boys' changing room, as she took the camera that she placed in there, as she took it to her room as fast as she could. As the moment she arrived, she plugged it into her PC and extracted the file, as she cropped every other boy out except from one boy in particular, Izuku Midoriya. As Mina kept on looking at Izuku's pictures and the video. Well, I can't go as far as I want to because YouTube will demonetize me. This is why today's sponsor, animemerch.com. If you guys want to get 25% off before Christmas, use my code ONI at checkout. Thank you. Back to the video. As Mina kept on looking at it, as I think you guys may know what will be happening here. I can't say it, but I think you guys may know. As Mina finished that video in a cold sweat, as she was gasping for air. This is why I said I didn't want to actually record or script that little bit. As Mina heard a knock at her door, as she went out and opened her door to see no one was there. As the door was opened wide, as Mina went outside to have another look, but the moment she opened the door as wide, someone invisible walked in. As the moment she stopped and locked the door, Mina sat back down as she started to think to herself, maybe I need to study today. I am behind on work. Fuck it, I'll start revising. Fuck it, Mina said out loud as she pulled out Izuku's toothbrush, put it into her mouth, and started to work. As that form of, concentration kept her stimulated enough for her to work and concentrate. As the work was finished, she went straight to bed without any computation. As the moment Toru, this invisible creature, knew that Mina was asleep, the person went to work and started looking around Mina's room, started at her desk, underneath her bed, as the final area would be Mina's closet, as she opened it to see t-shirts, boxers, and all the stuff that I've said in the beginning. As Mina opened her eyes and snuck behind the person who had opened her closet, as glowing red eyes with heart shapes in them. Toru, the whisper voice into the invisible girl's ear, as the only thing Toru was about to do was squeak, giving the scent that somebody knew her secret, as she didn't want this person to leave and tell everyone else. As Mina grabbed Izuku's toothbrush and stabbed it right into Toru's neck, making her bleed out. You're not telling anyone my secret, are you? I'm not letting you ruining my chances with Izu. Never in a million years, Mina said, as she grabbed the neck of Toru and stabbed it one more time, finishing her off completely. As Mina pulled out a duffel bag out of her room and stuffed her body in there, as she threw the rest of the body under their bed until tomorrow night, where she would dig and bury the body. The next day after that, everyone was starting to get worried about Toru. She's been missing for 2 days, but yet no lead has been found. Well, since she's invisible, no one can barely see her while what she does. So people were confused. Maybe she walked off, maybe she's in different areas. But no one knew where the invisible hero, Toru, was again. Thank you all for watching this video. If you guys want part 2, get this video to 150 likes and you guys get the next part as soon as possible. And if you guys want the second part out as soon as I can, we're trying to hit at least like 10,000 channel members. I'm kidding. Do not become a channel member unless you do want to. Part 2 will be on the channel membership page if you guys do want to see it. I'm kidding about 10,000 channel members. That would be insane to think of. I am kidding though. Thank you all for watching and have a good day. Take it easy and goodbye. What up, cunts? Welcome to part 2 of a shitty, weirdly what if that has been recommended me by Blaze Hollow. Link in the description or top right of you guys' screen if you guys want to watch it. And we hit the 100 like goal in 24 hours, so why not make part 2 in less than a week and upload it then on the same day on Saturday. So without further ado, I would like to say a couple things. First off, our channel member shoutouts will be right here if you guys want to become a member and get part 2 early, before, or part 3 actually, before anyone else. Well, it's there, it's optional, 99p or £12 a month, depending on which you guys want to go down. And also, quick little thing, our Discord server is pushing 700 members. If you guys like to join in there, click below. Because I'm coming back to the old Oni style of stuff, instead of doing the fucking clickbaity shit. So I hope you guys enjoy a full series of Mina Ashido, the yandere obsessed with Izuku. As we're going to do a little time skip, about a month here, just so we can skip through the series quite decently. As we skip to their little lunch area time, kind of like lunchtime basically. As Izuku is sat in the cafeteria, waiting for the rest of his classmates to catch up. Izuku was sat there eating his soba like normal, until 2 hands grabbed his shoulder. Hey Midoriya, you okay? Jesus Christ, Ochaka, you scared the life out of me, Izuku said, shouting back in surprise. So Midoriya, how are you doing? Ochaka said with a red blush on her face. I'm doing well so far, how about you? I'm doing well, Izuku, she said, as she blushed violently. As Izuku returned the gesture, as he did as well, not getting what was actually about to happen. As Izuku and Araka both had lunch together that day, but what they didn't know was a certain pink-haired individual would be doing her final phase of her plan to get Izuku to pay attention to her for the final and moment of time. So we're gonna fast forward a couple of days prior to this encounter. Mina was just hiding the body of Toru Hagakure in, well, anywhere basically. She's fucking invisible. No one's gonna notice. So what she would have done was bury it, or at least throw it somewhere where no one would ever find it. But during that observation, Mina got a call from a certain somebody. A villain, you may ask. Mina, have you got any more information about UA and other things? The man said through the voice call. Yeah, I've got some more, but it's gonna be pricey, this one. You got any more quirks from Author One's old lab when Izuku defeated him? Yeah, I've got a couple. What do you need for the information? He said. Well, I need this quirk, she said, pointing to a certain quirk that mixed with her own. You sure you want that one? With that one, it requires intense concentration and form of desire for something that you would really want, the man said. Yes, I do. Send it over first and I'll send you the information by post, Mina said, as the call ended. As a day later, Mina received a vial of pink substance. As she kneeled down, got a belt, and injected herself with the new quirk that she obtained. As the moment the quirk shuttered around her body, as her quirk gene fused with the new quirk gene that was originally made from some random female who loved robbing and get away with it, but in Mina's case, that would change. As Mina's body started to solidify and turn into a natural gas, as her body started to swift through the air. As Mina started to get used to her quirk more, she wondered how to solidify herself back into her normal form. and get into other people's bodies and get out. So she trained for those next couple of days, figuring out her quirk, and so on. As the day came, a couple of days later, leaving us at the present time, where Mina would test this on somebody who she started to despise. As everyone was entering their dorm rooms, Mina saw this as a perfect idea, as she entered her room to require no suspicion, as she went and activated her quirk and went through the air vents until she reached Ochako's room. As the moment she did, however, she saw that Ochako was just falling asleep, so she saw this as a perfect time to slip through and do her master evil plan to get Midoriya to notice her. As Mina slipped through Ochako's ear, as her entire, cloud of smoke dissipated, as Ochako shut awake as her eyes came a black iris, as blinked twice it disappeared, as Mina, or now Ochako, as we say, looked down at her new required hands, as she looked down to see that her body, pink skin, was gone, as she realized she was in Ochako's body, as now she can finally get closer to her darling more than anyone would ever do in her lifetime. As Mina got up, got ready, as she got prepared for tomorrow's actions of what is going to happen, as Mina got ready for the day, as she went to her class, as the moment she did, everyone was just staring at the window, waiting for Aizawa to come in and ruin their conversation so they can start the day correctly. But when the day before it started, that doesn't make sense, but I'm rolling with it, as Mina, or Ochako / walked in, as she went to her normal seat, but realizing she went to the wrong one, she went to go sit behind Izuku. As everyone would have brought that up, asking her, "That's Mina's seat, you know that, Ochako." As Ochako just giggled slightly and apologized for her misdemeanor of where she was sitting. As Ochako went to go sit down in her quote-unquote normal seat. As Izuku finally walked in, sweating like he was just running to class, pretending he was late. As Ochako just stared at him. Well, Mina / Ochako, let's just call her Mina for now. As Mina started to get more and more feelings towards Izuku from Ochako's original feelings flaring up, making Mina's own feelings more stronger towards the cinnamon roll boy. As Mina went over to Izuku to greet him in Ochako's body. Let's just get that out of the way, you know that already. As Izuku greeted Ochako normally, as Mina felt more and more jealous that she didn't try and make more and more friends with Izuku than beforehand, as she felt like an idiot, but she knew how to change that. Knew one way she could change that, by making Izuku fall madly in love with Ochako, and living the rest of their lives like that. That would be perfect, Mina said, as internally she screamed. As Izuku and Mina, Ochako, both sat down and started their day, as everyone was wondering where Mina was for the entire day, but Aizawa told the class that Mina was off sick and she'll be in tomorrow. As some of the class both said, we should go visit Mina after class today to make sure everything's okay. As the end of the day arrived, as Izuku and Ochako both went out, as Ochako went over to Izuku and kissed him on the cheek slightly, as Izuku felt confused. He didn't really know what to do, so in turn he tried to avoid it and pretend it never happened. As inside of Mina's, Ochako's mind, "Izuku, don't fall for it, please. It's not me," Ochako said, as Mina slammed the door shut and zoning out to make sure she couldn't hear Ochako speak, knowing that Ochako knew who she was and who was taking control of her. She knew she couldn't relieve her or retake control whenever, because she'll probably just snitch. So she tried her best to make sure Ochako wouldn't remember this encounter, or even remember its entire day. So she planned out what to do in the next seeable hours. As we cut back to the real world, as Izuku and Ochako were both walking back to the dorms, until he heard a screech of some kind. As they walked in to see Momo drop the plates onto the floor. Seeing that, Izuku rushed over to try and help. As he went over, got a towel, and helped Momo pick them up. This leading to Ochako, while Mina, being more jealous than originally she planned on feeling for Izuku's jealousy, instead of it being normal, it felt agitating, like she wanted to kill her again, like what she did with Toru. As Izuku picked all the glass up and put it inside of a makeshift bin Momo created using her quirk, as Izuku and Momo both placed it outside, as they both came back in with a decent smile on their face, pissing off Mina/Ochako, as Izuku and Momo both had a decent laugh before separating and going their separate ways, as Ochako/Mina both went to their room, respectively, as Mina left Ochako's body with no memory of her even being there. As 5 minutes later, Mina went through the air vent and waited patiently for Momo, but hearing girls talking through the corridor, "We should go to Mina's room and make sure she's okay," she said, as Mina rushed back to her room and went back into her normal form, as she got dressed and opened the door to meet with her friends, or quote-unquote friends. Seeing Momo there agitated her, but she just kept a decent smile and a sick-like face that could only represent of her being ill. But someone in particular would notice this, but we're gonna leave that for now. "You go, Mina," Momo said, handing her a plate, of dinner of course. As Mina grabbed the dinner, Momo felt a little bit of malice towards her, but she thought it was something else. But she still kept it in mind, just in case something came up and it was bad. So, as the entire class would sit at the door, not wanting to catch what Mina had, as their conversation went on for a while, until an hour later when they all left, as Mina breathed out a sigh of relief, knowing that she was in the clear, but knowing she had to go to class tomorrow as her, and not as Momo as planned. So this will go into her plan later in the weekend. She would find a way inside of Momo's head and change it so she can ruin her life completely, so she can gain the trust of Izuku by dragging Momo's thoughts and Izuku's mind into thinking that Momo is just an attention seeker, and she would recommend Mina as the one friend you could trust. As Mina got giddy of excitement, knowing her plan will come to fruition sooner or later, this would make her insanely giddy and happy. That would make her do unforgivable acts towards, I think you know what. As Mina would go back to class for that day, everything would be normal until Izuku would appear behind her and asking if she was okay, because he didn't get to answer that a couple of hours ago because they were busy with schoolwork and everything. "I felt that I should say that I'm sorry," Izuku said. "What are you sorry for, Izuku?" she said, accidentally slipping up on his first name. "Well, I'm sorry that I couldn't actually help out, you know. Me training to be a hero, I felt like I couldn't help you at all," Izuku said, as Mina internally screeched and squealed at the fact her crush, or in fact her obsession, was cared about her that much. As the end of class arrived, as everyone was leaving, until Izuku was pulled aside by All Might, asking him if he wants to train more, as Izuku, being Izuku, obliged, as Izuku would follow All Might until he reached the school gymnasium, where he would meet a hero that he would never ever thought he would meet in his life. A hero Izuku actually admired a lot more, well, just a little bit more than All Might. A symbol that actually shined out even All Might. Even through him being an underground hero, he still fought with pride and, well, fearful, if that makes word. The quirkless hero, Knuckle Duster. "Put your guard up, kid," Knuckle Duster said. "Wait, are we gonna fight?" Izuku said out loud. Yeah, what else are we doing?" As Knuckle Duster charged at Izuku. As before, he could power up even a second. Knuckle Duster threw a mighty blow at Izuku's head, making him spiral slightly, but making Izuku's balance regain. As Izuku threw a thundering kick with 5%, making another Duster screw to the right and grab Izuku's leg, making his balance shift onto his left leg and making Izuku less confident to stand. "Kid, you need to know where you can use your balance. Use your left leg, kick up and hit me again," Knuckle Duster said as he dropped Izuku's right leg. As they repeated, as this time Izuku landed a blow onto Knuckle Duster's ribs, pushing him back slightly, but only slightly. "There we go. Now again." As they continued, as Knuckle Duster changed his routine again and again and again, as Izuku kept on, well, repeating, as he got used to fighting Knuckle Duster, he decided to take a little break and told him to fight Aizawa without using his quirk. As Izuku would be confused why, but Knuckle Duster said, if your quirk is disabled during fighting, you need to figure out a way around what you can fight. For me, I use support items or, well, Knuckle Dusters, as I said in my name. But in turn, it gives me a little bit more strength boost to my original strength, giving me at least like 3 times strength boost to my fists, being able to punch through concrete and bend metal. Now, fight. As Aizawa activated his quirk, as Izuku did the same thing Knuckle Duster would have done to try and fight Aizawa off. But one thing for certain, Izuku underestimated how strong the scarf was. He understood in the past couple of years Aizawa's scarf is strong, but it can be ripped apart depending on the force or movement of the force of the object that's been carried along. So he used this to his advantage, as the moment Aizawa's scarf wrapped around Izuku's arm, he pulled Aizawa in, tightening in the scarf around Aizawa's upper neck, leading Aizawa to tumble slightly, but this locked off his quirk for just a little moment, leaving Izuku able to use his quirk for 2 seconds, enabling Aizawa to be at least, not knocked out, just knocked over. As Izuku took a break after half an hour of doing this, he felt absolutely shattered. Being able to fight without his quirk as much as that gave him experience, but also drained his stamina quite a bit, enabling him to be just fucking laid down on his back and heavy breathing. As Knuckle Duster came over to Izuku and handed him a box. "Use this when your quirk gets disabled and also add it to your goddamn gauntlets, bro," Knuckle Duster said. "Add this onto those little red gauntlets they use to be able to use your quirk at 100%. If you can do that, you'll be able to hit twice as harder, and also that gear quirk of yours seemed interesting," the man said. That's spoilers for manga, by the way. If anyone don't want to get spoiled, please leave. Wait, how do you know about, as Knuckle Duster just pointed to his nose, as he just tapped it slightly, saying the nose always knows. Reference there. As Izuku got up and went home for the day. As Izuku got back to the dorms and was about to open his door, until he heard a rustling in his room. As he went behind the door and opened it slightly, but leaving it open slightly and jumped back, seeing nothing in there but just an empty room and his stuff. Thinking that someone was in his room, he stayed on guard for the rest of the night until he fell asleep. As the moment he did, however, a certain pink-faced or certain pink-bodied individual came into his room through the window and started to fall asleep into Izuku's bed, feeling the most comfort that person's ever felt in weeks of being frustrated and alone. Well, he didn't feel like being alone. It just felt like it for her. As next morning arrived, Izuku woke up first. As his eyes was just fluttering awake, he could feel something heavy on top of him. As Izuku moved the sheets to see